Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be reviewing the NECA Toys Ultimate Emissary 1 Predator based off of a set of deleted scenes from 2018's The Predator, where essentially the humans team up with a set of predators who are apparently dressed in very similar military gear. So yeah, this was definitely a big surprise to the community when this guy plus Emissary 2 was announced and put up for pre-order, because the fact of the matter is it was a deleted scene, and personally I would have never thought we would have gotten figures of these, but luckily we did. So NECA, thank you, because it is just so both of them are such unique figures. And before I get into the review, originally I was going to do a joint review with this guy and Emissary 2, but I don't know, the more I looked at Emissary 2 compared to this guy, the more differences I saw, at least in paint application. So I thought, what the hell, let's just give each one their own debut video. So here we are. But anywho, before I ramble on anymore about God knows what, let's get into the review. Alrighty, so starting out with the packaging, it really shouldn't be too much of a surprise to people who collected the Assassin Predator or any of the Fugitive Predators, because it's basically the same style. We do get a nice image of Emissary 1 on the front. It's actually not the figure that I notice, it's just the actual guy in the suit. But yeah, so it comes in the typical blue and white, says Emissary 1 at the bottom. The side pretty much is plain, just Emissary 1 Predator, and the other side continues the portrait of Emissary 1. And the back should also look pretty familiar. I'll go ahead and zoom in. Just shows Emissary 1 sporting his different accessories. You have the assault rifle and obviously the biomask, and he's just looking super duper cool. And for people who want to know more about this figure, here is his bio, so go ahead and pause now. And as you would expect with any Ultimate figure, you can plop open the flap, which is on Velcro, and here is a nice image of the actual figure with a diorama that, of course, NECA won't give us, but if anybody, Randy, you know, if you're watching, pal, give us this part, because that would just make our display so much cooler. And here's where you would see the figure with the Blue City background. And for all the nitpickers out there, here is the top of the box, and here's the bottom with the barcode and UPC. Okay, and here is the figure out of the packaging. I do have the unmasked head on and the general fist hands on. I actually prefer these guys without the biomask version, simply because they're not really too different than the Fugitive Predator, just some slight paint applications which I'll get into later, but man, these heads are really, really well done. But I'll give a quick 360 so you can admire his beauty. Yes, I am kind to NECA today because the QC issues on my end were not too bad. I mean, obviously some frozen joints here and there, which were easily fixed with hot water, but NECA, you know, if you're watching, Mr. Randy, you're not off the hook, pal. And really my only gripe with the figure would actually be the joints they used for the feet. On mine personally, I can't really get a real good ankle pivot. I don't know why, it just seems like they're kind of restricted. If I work for it for a while, I can kind of get it to do what I need, but it doesn't, like, the feet don't rest flat on the ground when you are having like poses like this where they're kind of widespread. So just a heads up, I don't know if yours is like that. It's not too big a deal, it's not game breaking for me, but I just wanted to have that said anyway. And please don't fall. He's been falling a lot lately. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the gripes low on this one, fellas. I already attacked NECA enough, but let's take a closer look. And starting us off right off the bat with the head sculpt, which, like I said, is really, really well done. I call this the Unicorn Predator I don't know why. It's just whenever I see like streaks of purple and pink and even a little bit of violet in there with this really glossy, almost white color, it's more of silver in person. It just reminds me of a unicorn. Not you know, it's not a slight to you, Mr. Predator. I don't know why I think that. Clearly I'm a little bit messed up in the head, but I mean that as a compliment because the head is really, really well done. Like I said, you have a ton of color variety on the sculpt. It's just so well done. And again, I really do like the coating of gloss that they used for the entire head. It just really makes it pop, and it's just so well done. I mean, I'm basically gonna say everything that I usually say when I show off head sculpts of Predators, and that there's just a ton of detail. They sculpted in every wrinkle, every ridge, everything you can possibly imagine. They do it so flippin' well, and it's so well done. Even the gums inside the mouth are really, really well done. And I don't know if you can see this on camera like me, but if you look close, I'm gonna try and get closer. The teeth. Yeah, so they have that bone color, but there are actually some ridges sculpted into the actual mandible teeth, which, I don't know, I thought that was just a really nice touch. It's something minor that really you'll only notice when you put this guy under a microscope like me right now, but I'm happy that it's there. And the eyes on mine are pretty decent as well. From what I can tell, there's no bleeding and he's not cross-eyed, which some of my Predators come like that. And again, I said this, I think, in the Lab Escape Fugitive Predator video. I'm surprised considering how small they are and like sunken into the head they are. So that's nice. That's really nice. And I'm curious, can we even see his neck? It's really hard. I probably have to pop. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so it continues that purple design. And again, they put a lot of muscle detail in there, skin detail. It's super well done. Okay, the dreadlocks. I'm pretty sure these are the same as Fugitive Predator. I am not certain. I actually have Fugitive right here. Yeah, they should be pretty much the same. Usually most Predators, their dreadlocks are kind of like sleek and smooth, but his are kind of ridgy and pointed, and the beads are obviously gold, and they're all individualized. So, pretty manipulative. You can pose them around and do whatever you want them to do. Personally, I kind of like when they're slicked back like this, but that's just me. And moving on to the rest of the figure, that is just so flippin' cool looking. At first, I thought all these little silver marks and stuff were just damage to the figure, but no, it turns out they're just painted on scuffs and scrapes for the armor, the padding, which looks very human. So it's kind of weird to see a Predator like this, because they always have their own thing going on, and when they put something on like this, which is again used for, you know, military humans, it's kind of odd looking, but it is well done. I do like the camo pattern that they used in between each of these armored pads. I do like the little bit of scuffs and scrapes, and it's almost kind of like wear on these pads here as well, and this is pliable as well. I usually like to tuck it under the belt here, but yeah, the back is pretty cool too, because yeah, it is military armor, but it looks like a jetpack almost. It's kind of odd. So, and again, they put a lot of battle damage in there as well, and I like how they sculpted in the wrinkles right next to all these buckles and the straps. It's really, really well done. And you have the shoulder pieces here, which are pretty cool. Heads up, yeah, these are a little bit pliable. They're a soft plastic, but the arms are really, really limited because of them. So just a heads up. Part of me wishes that this wasn't necessarily sculpted onto the shoulder, but you can actually move it down and up, so you can get just more movement out of the shoulders. I don't know why, but they're well done. A lot of, I don't know, because I feel like a lot of people kind of just look over these tiny details that they put in, because they even put folds or wrinkles and folds of the wraps here right under the armpit, which is actually, I mean, realistic. That would happen, but I thought that was super cool. And now the armor is, well, it's not supposed to be taken off. I don't think you can take this off, but if you find a way, I think the only way is to cut it at one of the sides, you would have a fully detailed body underneath. And it should look, I mean, it should look familiar because it's basically the Fugitive Predator body. I'll do comparisons when I bring in Lab Escape Fugitive, but it's pretty much the same, only obviously the color is completely different. This guy has a lot of purple and violet going on, and obviously that glossy silver, which, again, he's a unicorn predator, folks. He's colorful. He likes to be colorful. And yeah, so you have the arms here, nice detail with the skin and the scales. Got the elbow pad. He's a scooter. You know, you don't want him falling on his elbow. He's gonna mess it up, scrape it up. So he's got those pads just in case. And what's weird about this is usually we have gauntlets on our arms on our predators, but no. This one, he doesn't need it on both. He just has it on this one. So you do have the strap right here, which is pretty good, held on by sculpted on buckles, and the hands, which, I mean, they're well done. I think they're fine. They're just gloved, so it looks pretty good. Here is the side with the gauntlet, which should look familiar. It's basically Fugitive Predators, only without the wrist blades. So there's no ports in here to actually put them on from what I can, yeah. Because on the Fugitive Predator there are ports to put wrist blades on, but, and I think it's pretty much painted the same. I don't think the Fugitive had the gold, maybe. I'll do comparisons later, but yeah. Moving down on the figure, look at his crotch. All these Predators, I'm telling you, they're paranoid about getting their groin kicked in. So they take precautions. Look at this amount of armor this guy has on, all these buckles and padding and pouches. It's crazy looking. It really is. And they're all soft plastic, so it shouldn't hinder the legs too much. You do have the side here looking pretty good. Got some wear and tear on all of this light brown to at least make it look a little bit used, not clean. And a ton of pouches at the back, which is pretty sweet looking. And he has butt straps. You can't leave your planet without butt straps. And this guy knew it. Unicorn Predator understood what had to be done. So he took precautions and he brought some butt straps. Now what's interesting about these butt straps, and I don't know why I noticed this, but the way they sculpted it in, it looks like it's actually pressing against his pants and making folds and wrinkles all around it, which obviously is realistic. So these butt straps, they're important. Okay, folks? Okay, I have to move away from the butt straps and talk about the rest. Here it's even more evident how the straps are pressed against the clothing, so the wrinkles are a little bit more evident, which looks pretty damn cool. He does have another pouch here with a sculpted on zipper, which also looks pretty sweet. And he has more straps going around the thigh area, and he has knee pads, because when he's scooting, he's got to protect the elbows and the knees. Just remember that. He's got some scuffs and scrapes on them too, and a little bit of padding on the sides of the shins. Here he has some wear marks and a little bit on here as well. Looks pretty cool. More of those, more of that padding underneath. And would you look at that, folks? This one doesn't need sandals. He just needs foot wraps. That's all he needs. Okay? He's a badass. That's why. And the feet are very purple and violet. So, unicorn predator. He does have peg holes at the bottom, and they actually sculpted in the... Gosh, will you focus? Dear God, they sculpted in the wrap right there. So, those peg holes, they might come in handy, because again, this guy does tend to actually fall on me. Those ball joints on the foot, they're just really, really weak, and again, I can't really do good ankle pivots with them. I think it's not even necessarily the ball joints, it's just there's a lot of sculpting going on here, so it just restricts movement. I mean, if you work with it, you can probably get it to stand pretty well. It's not like this guy's always falling, but you have to work with him a little bit more than you would other figures, because again, he tends to want to lean back and forth, so you gotta balance him a little bit. Same with Emissary 2, which I'll do another review on, but it's pretty much the same with him. Little gripe though, just a little gripe. Okay, and speaking of movement, let's get into the articulation. Again, he has a ton of armor on, so don't expect this guy to be super duper flexible, but he can still do some pretty decent poses. The head, I mean, it can go, let's see how much it can go. It can go up that much, and down that much, and side to side, and left to right. Technically, you can do a 360. I don't recommend it, but it's a little bit restricted. Again, thick armor, so, but it's not too bad. The shoulders, like I said, can go out probably like, I don't know, that much, in that much, and they can technically do the 360. He doesn't have an upper bicep cut, but he has cuts at either of the double jointed joints right here, so you have another swivel right there, and obviously it is double jointed. The hands, 360, and they have a hinge, so forward and back. Okay, so the abs, he's really, really flexible here. Again, this piece is really pliable, so very manipulative, and he has two joints, one right here, so just look at that. That's a lot of movement, so, and obviously they can swivel and stuff at either one, so that's nice. It's the body of Lab Escape Fugitive, and just Fugitive in general, so there you go. Alright, the legs, right, so he does have an upper thigh cut. The legs can go forward, I don't know, that much, probably more if you work with it, and back a lot. And he's in shape, so he can do the splits. Yeah, so he has tight joints on mine, but with NECA, I prefer tight joints over loose. Jesus Christ. Okay, he has a knee cut and a double jointed knee as well, which is lovely. And as I've said on several occasions, the feet kind of limited. I mean, left and right, they can do a 360 and they can go forward and back and side to side, but again, it's not a good enough ankle pivot. So who knows, I might be making a stand for this guy. I don't know. We will see. Alrighty, so size. He is approximately almost 9 inches tall. He'd be a little bit taller. I don't have him completely at a neutral position, but just a little bit under 9 inches. And we can actually show him off with his brother right here. So I do have Emissary 2, who is also pretty damn awesome looking. And I'm just noticing now, like, yeah, the color, he's a lot darker than this one. The armor, I mean, so they are different in that respect. And I do have him here with Fugitive and another Fugitive. Do I have a third? Do I have a third? Do I have a third? Yes, I do. And this guy, who wants to knock over the other feller. And of course, please don't knock anything over, Jesus Christ. There he is. So, family photo. So yeah, I have completed the line I might do a video with overall thoughts on it, but there's the family photo. 3 fugitives, 2 emissaries, and 1 assassin. And here he is next to my alpaca. Okay, so accessories. Before I get into it, I just want to mention that I had several people asking me, you know, does any of the emissary predators come with the LED light up feature for the biomask, like the lab escape? Unfortunately, no. It's just like pretty much every other predator. I wish, personally, that they would have included the LED feature, just because I think it looks so flippin' cool with my fugitive predator, and it's pretty bright, so it, you know, I think it just looks a heck of a lot better than what we've gotten in the past. But I honestly think it was probably a one-time use. They might continue LED stuff in the future, I don't know, but yeah, so that's the whole thing. Emissary 1 or 2, they don't have the LED stuff. But speaking of accessories and LED lights, let's look at the biomask, which, I mean, it should look familiar, right? It's pretty much fugitive predator. You do have some instances of emissary underneath. Obviously, you do have all that pink and purple and the same coat of gloss. The dreadlocks should, I mean, they should pretty much be the same, and you do have a little bit of sculpt and paintwork under there for the jaw. But yeah, I think this is pretty much the same as fugitive. I do have him right here, so let me actually move up the camera and compare. On camera they probably look the same. In person this one is a little bit darker, but the sculpt is pretty much just exactly the same. But yeah, so if you want to put it on your predator, be really careful. On mine, it's just, I don't know, a super duper tight joint, so I'm actually gonna do this off camera really quick. Yeah, like I said, that took a lot of force, and be careful when you do that because you don't want to hurt the mandibles. But yeah, so it is a ball peg joint, and like any predator, just pop it on. Okay, so yeah, that took even more force. It took me several tries to actually get it on here. It kept popping off, and now I'm a little bit paranoid because I want to move the dreadlocks around, but this thing really likes to pop off easily. Eventually, after a bit, it should sit there pretty tight, but yeah, like I said, it was kind of a bitch to get it on. I don't know why. It was just did not want to work with me there, but it looks pretty cool. It's fugitive with army gear, but I dig it. I really like the biomask. I'm personally going to leave both emissary predators on display with the unmasked head, just because look at that. That's so unique and cool, and yeah, but it's nice to have it as an accessory, just to, I don't know, more display options, but definitely prefer this one more. Okay, the other accessory he comes with here is the assault rifle, which, I mean, it's pretty well done. I'm not a gun guy, so I don't know the correct name for this particular gun, but if you are, you know, let me know. It's pretty generic. I mean, you have just a bit of silver here, black grips, and you do have this ammo bag right here, which is sculpted pretty well. It's nice. There is a feature you can lift this up and to make it look like he's loading it, but yeah, be careful. I feel like the hinge on mine might break off after a while, so I don't really want to mess around with it too much. And here's the other side. You do have this little handle thing right here, how to cock the weapon, and yeah, it's really fragile, so be careful. And he comes with a pair of hands, one to grip the underside of the gun and the trigger finger. Okay, so how flippin' cool does that look? That just looks so awesome. I don't know, you usually don't see predators with a lot of guns. Usually they just have like swords, the wrist blades, the plasma caster, so this just looks really freaking cool. But of course this wouldn't be a predator without the classic roaring hands. which, again, I'm glad they included them, because this pretty much comes with every Predator. You always have to have I call them the Roaring Hands, based off 87, so that's nice. But yeah, this just looks so nice. Oh, yeah, I'm probably gonna pop this head sculpt on, put this one on, and probably leave him in this pose, because that looks so cool. I don't know why. I kind of want to do a pose with him actually loading it now. I don't know, but so freaking cool. Alrighty folks, guys and gals, now it is time I answer your question. What do you do with this figure? Do you buy it or do you pass it? You guys know me. I'm a completionist, but I'm going to put myself in the shoes of just an ordinary collector who's cherry picking figures out of the line. Personally, I would really want to have this one in my collection just because it's so unique. We rarely get Predators, again, that are even holding guns, that are covered in this type of armor, so I would definitely pick it up. And this is a rare occasion when I don't have a NECA item that has so many gosh darn QC issues. Sure, I had some frozen joints, but they weren't too bad. It's nothing that I haven't done in the past, but they weren't game breaking, and even though they were there, I think it was still worth a buy. But Randy, I see you back there behind your little Twitter account. I'm watching you, pal. I know you're watching these videos. I know you're out there. Okay? Fire you QC guys. They deserve it. Go check out The Sanctuary on Facebook and YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, and go check out Trophy Room on Facebook, a lovely Alien Predator community group that I created. So if you love the franchises, go post about whatever you want about them. And as always, folks, have a good morning, evening, midday, whatever, and take care.